Yeah, I think it's very close to, being in a situation where even if there's no human oversight or intervention, that the probability of a safe journey is higher with FSD and no supervision, like even if you're asleep in the car, than if the person is driving. We've got the final piece of the puzzle, which is to have the control part of the car transition from about 300,000 lines of C++ code to also a neural network. So the whole system will be neural network, photons in to controls out, and that's kind of the final piece of the puzzle for full self-driving being significantly better than human.
If you're a long-term viewer of this channel, you'll know that every single major prediction I've ever made in the history of this channel has been completely wrong. And actually, maybe some of them weren't wrong, but in those cases, I just got lucky. So if you hear me make any predictions in today's video, I'm either going to be wrong, or if it turns out I'm right, it was pure luck again. And speaking of predictions that will definitely be wrong, ARK Invest research suggests that the global enterprise value of autonomy will be $14 trillion. According to ARK Invest, autonomous taxis could generate $4 trillion in revenue by 2027. So even if they are right, it's not a lot of money, is it? 4 trillion? Trillion comes after 1,000, right? ARK also believe by 2027, the enterprise value of companies providing robotaxis, autonomous platforms, will be a mere $14.1 trillion, which again is not very much, so we can probably ignore it. And as we know, data is definitely not important when it comes to solving autonomy, which is a good thing for companies other than Tesla, because if data was important, it would appear that Tesla had an unassailable lead, and that would be bad for companies trying to solve autonomy that aren't Tesla. Just hypothetically, if data were important and a company had an unassailable lead and the lion's share of the data, they might get a very large slice of that $14 trillion opportunity. Wait, why is this on my screen? From Mr. Breaking News himself. With Tesla now having produced its 5 millionth vehicle, that means Tesla's entire fleet is driving, on average, over 150 million miles per day. And why did I quote this and say, for reference, the sun is 93 million miles away, meaning that in a single day, the global Tesla fleet drives more miles than there are between here and the fucking sun. Won't be too long before Tesla's global fleet in a single day is doing the equivalent of a round trip to the sun and then back again. Still don't understand why this is on my screen though. Maybe somebody can figure it out. Let me know in the comments below. Speaking of predictions that definitely won't age well and will be super wrong, Dave Lee highlighted my favorite line from the Walter Isaacson Elon Musk biography, which for the record, I did post an exclusive X video about a couple of days ago. Dave posting this today. Same line seemed to stick out in his mind as well. During a conversation that month about the milestones his companies had reached, Elon Musk explained to me why he thought Tesla was on a trajectory to be the most valuable company in the world, one that made $1 trillion in profits every year, which obviously is going to be another failed prediction, so let's ignore it. It's not a big deal anyway, even if it turns out to be right. A trillion's not very much, like I said. 1, 10, 1,000, trillion, million, billion? Is that how it goes? I think that's how it goes.
Just on the FSD, we were talking earlier this year, and you said, hey, maybe ChatGPT 4.0-like moment for self-driving was coming.
Oh, it's coming. And I strongly believe that people will deeply and forever regret not recognizing this fact beforehand. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just some guy on the internet, so you should ignore me. While I'm making predictions ahead of time that I'll clip in the future when they've played out, you know what I think is going to happen? I think that autonomy will have its GPT moment. The capabilities will seem to have come out of absolutely nowhere. And most investors, retail and institutional, everyone, will be left scratching their heads going, how could anyone have possibly seen that coming? It's not like this was obvious ahead of time. Oh my God, how did we miss this? I really wish I had have known ahead of time. I would have bought a little bit more of, you know what? Oh, and you better fucking believe it. There are going to be countless videos from all the YouTube finance folks talking about Tesla after this moment. Well, if I had have known that was going to happen, I would have had more than 12% of my portfolio allocated to... You get it, right? And then there'll be a few people overdosing on copium. Well, it's not like anyone could have seen that coming, and anyone who was all in on Tesla stock is just an irresponsible investor. Again, I'm just saying this now so that when it happens, I can make use of these predictions ahead of time. But of course, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a deluded fanboy. And even if it turns out I am right, I just got lucky.
And I've been playing with the beta, and how close does it feel to you? Because some of the rides it's been doing for me are pretty darn impressive.
The latest beta is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I used to love it on the highways and on the streets. I'd be like, okay, but now I'm using it increasingly on the streets. So how do you feel about it right now? And I guess you made a lot of predictions on it over the years, but it does feel like it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's very close to, being in a situation where even if there's no human oversight or intervention, that the probability of a safe journey is higher with FSD and no supervision, like even if you're asleep in the car, than if the person is driving.
And this is a really big call. For many years, Elon's been off on his predictions around autonomy in terms of timing. That's what happens when you're in uncharted territory. You don't know what you don't know. But given the recent breakthrough with FSD V12, trained purely on video, end-to-end, the deletion of 300,000 lines of code, rules-based, gone. It's now just figuring out how to learn based on examples of great human drivers. It's the first time I've heard Elon say something like this, rather than we expect we'll have autonomy solved within 12 months or so on, but describing the safety aspect. Expects Tesla is very close to FSD being at a point where it will be safer than a human-driven vehicle. And why would he say this? Well, Tesla has access to all of the data. How many miles are being driven? How often accidents are occurring? Whether FSD beta is safer than the current version. Spoiler alert, it is. So he's got some insight here. He explicitly mentions potentially being asleep in the vehicle. And please, don't do that yet. But as I've personally mentioned recently, after the V12 demo, I no longer see any obstacles in Tesla's way. Prior to then, there were a lot of unknown unknowns. The path wasn't clearly lit. But now, bro, in the span of approximately 8 months, Tesla went from 0 to the capabilities we saw in FSD V12. It's already better than the software they'd been working on for years. Of course, if Tesla didn't have access to an absolute ton of data, this would not be the case. They already have a mountain of data though, and we've seen how capable this software has become. In less than a year, in less than 3/4 of a year. Again, it is impossible to know exactly when autonomy will be solved, and when it will be safer to get in a Tesla vehicle that's driving autonomously in terms of likelihood of a collision, an accident per mile driven versus a human driver. I've always remained skeptical of Tesla's own predictions. This is why my Tesla valuation model has had the first robotaxis in late 2024, and that prediction has remained unchanged. However, my confidence in that prediction now after the V12 demo has increased significantly. The reason, as I mentioned, is that I no longer see obstacles between now and human capability and then beyond. Whereas prior to now, there were a few things like, maybe, hopefully it'll work, but you never know. And I want to underscore, given how very intelligent and forward-looking the stock market and investors are, by the way, that was extreme sarcasm, I think that the market will need to get bitch slapped in the face with evidence that this software is safer than humans before recognizing the opportunity, as opposed to recognizing that it's inevitable, as Elon points out, that Tesla's not that far away from this taking place. Personally, I would prefer to have been loading up on Tesla before everyone figures it out rather than after. Just saying.
We were very close to that. Those that have the FSD beta, which really anyone can get at this point. So the miles we see driven under the FSD beta currently are much safer than the miles that are driven without it. So that's already a very good milestone.
Rate of improvement is an important focal point. Is the software getting better? The answer is yes. It's becoming more capable, yes. Safer, yes. It says learning how to do things better and more efficiently, yes. Strangely, a lot of folks seem to assume that everything is frozen in time and will remain exactly as it is today, indefinitely. For example, the folks who still think people will be buying internal combustion engine vehicles in the 2030s. These folks seem to think that costs for electric vehicles and ICE vehicles will stay frozen in time exactly as they are today, failing to recognize the cost of EVs will come down over time as production scales, as manufacturing innovation takes place, as battery costs decline predictably, as parts and processes are deleted, as global supply chains ramp up and become more efficient. Everyone watching knows, give or take a year ago, large language models, shout out to ChatGPT, had a breakthrough moment. No one could have predicted the exact timing on this, but progress was being made, and then bam, with a sufficient amount of data and the right technique, they have superhuman language capabilities, admittedly with a little bit of hallucination still present. I think what I'm trying to say is it's only a matter of time, and I don't think people are going to see it coming. It's kind of like a volcano, starting to rumble a little bit of seismic activity, starting to sputter and spurt a little bit. Volcanologist, I think that's the term, is like, hey guys, she's going to blow. Maybe you don't want to be anywhere near this thing. It's a big explosion about to take place. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no proof it's not exploding yet. I'm safe here. Next minute, blows its top.
But you can just see that it's getting better and better. Like if you compare the FSD beta today versus 6 months ago versus a year ago versus 18 months ago, it's really, the improvement is dramatic.
Yeah.
We've got the final piece of the puzzle, which is to have the control part of the car transition from about 300,000 lines of C++ code to also neural network. So the whole system will be neural network, photons in to controls out, and that's kind of the final piece of the puzzle for full self-driving being significantly better than human.
So words matter. In fact, I think I might have used those very words myself. This is the final piece of the puzzle. As I've mentioned repeatedly, probably like 20 videos in a row since the FSD V12 demo, I can no longer see any more obstacles in the path between where we are now and equivalent to human and then superhuman capabilities with Tesla's FSD. Prior to then, there were unknown unknowns. I figured that Tesla would cobble things together, bash their head against the wall, solve the problem, and then over time improve the capabilities. But there were still uncertainties. I no longer see those. Now I just see a well-lit, clear path. They've got the flywheel. They've got the recipe. They've got all the ingredients. It's now just a matter of churning data, training, capabilities improving. You might have heard me say those very things repeatedly in the last dozen or so videos. Timing. It's impossible to know. However, I am very confident in my assertion that there are no longer any obstacles or any unknown unknowns between now and autonomy being as capable and then more capable than a human being in terms of safety per miles driven. Many investors obviously strongly disagree. They don't believe that Tesla has all of the ingredients, let alone knows how to prepare the recipe. They still believe there are many missing pieces of the puzzle, including Tesla requiring LiDAR and I don't know what the fuck else they're thinking. I don't even know if they are thinking. But for the 420 septillionth time, I'm certainly not going to be somebody filled with regrets if it turns out that I'm right. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon. And don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.